Oh, hey, Matt Wiley here, and I wanted to go over something that I'm asked about almost every day. How to anonymize my identity when purchasing real estate. This is a huge question because people want to put as much protection as possible between themselves, their family, and their business interests. Whether you're a surgeon and don't want people to find out where your family live, or a commercial real estate owner and just want to separate the liability of a rental from your personal assets, this is the number one question people ask me. First thing people ask is, can I just create an LLC to hide my identity? In some states that may work, particularly Nevada. They have a lot of rules in place to kind of hide the owners of their LLCs. But in most, Connecticut included, when you look up a business on Connecticut's business website, you can see the name of the manager, officers, and owner of the business or LLC. That means you name your LLC, the Mind Your Own Business LLC, they're still going to see the home address of Matthew Wiley. It'll be publicly available. That means both my creditors know where I live and what I own. That is a problem for me. So the second thing I hear a lot is, what if I just create a trust to own my property? Unfortunately, it's the same situation. Yes, the trust will own the property, but most revocable style trusts have a grantor that's usually the owner. So for example, if I'm a bad guy and I go look up some building that Matt Wiley owns and I see Matthew Wiley as trustee of the Matthew Wiley Revocable Trust as the manager, did I really anonymize myself? Are they not going to be able to figure out who the real owner is, or at least go digging, file the lawsuit in the right direction? No, not at all, actually. It's pretty obvious to see who it is. So I'm going to tell you right now is a foolproof way to hide both your assets and anonymize yourself. The first step is to create a brand new domestic asset protection trust. These trusts are brand new for 2020 in the state of Connecticut, but they've been around the country for many years. The concept is simple. Anything you put into the trust is protected from future creditors. The negative is you need an independent trustee to control distributions. You can still control all investment decisions. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a separate video just about DAPs. So let's name this trust something clever. How about the Mind Your Own Business Trust? I now need to pick an independent trustee. A lawyer or accountant's a great person to choose, trusted friend. I could pick maybe my partner, Brian Etter, or my accountant. I think I'll pick Brian in this case. So we now have a Mind Your Own Business Trust that benefits Matthew Wiley and only Matthew Wiley. I can control all the investment decisions. Brian is the publicly listed owner, and Brian's in charge of giving me money when I ask, so to speak. He can say no, but he really won't, because I have one last important power. I have the ability to fire Brian and replace him with somebody else. So hopefully Brian only gives me money when I want it and says no when I don't. And that gives me a lot of protection, and it also sort of hides me a little bit. So the next step to move on to step 2 would be to create an LLC. I'm going to call it the Mind Your Own Business LLC because I think it's just a funny name. In the state of Connecticut, you are publicly required to list 2 things: at least one owner or officer and a registered agent. In this case, we'll draft a basic operating agreement designating the LLC as manager, managed, and then we will assign Brian Etter as trustee of the Mind Your Own Business trustee as the publicly viewed manager. The state of Connecticut allows you to have additional members, so if I really want more control of the entity, I can make Matthew Wiley a manager with 2 votes and only give Brian 1 vote. But I don't necessarily need to do that because Brian's job right now is to be trustee and just protect me and all these things. So I'm going to leave him alone. But you only have to disclose 1. You don't have to list all the owners. That's one of the good things about Connecticut. This should give me complete control at the LLC level, and at the same time, that's important. Second, when listing a registered agent, you need to list your attorney or trustee usually. I'm going to list Brian Etter, great attorney, and that accomplishes my goal. Finally, we have to do a deed for whatever property we're talking about. To get a truly anonymous result, you want to make sure the first day you own that property, it goes directly into your LLC. So the deed's going to be made out to the Mind Your Own Business LLC, which may list Brian Etter as manager on the state of Connecticut's website. Tax bills come to the Mind Your Own Business LLC. Even though I'm theoretically the owner, no one in the world can even see it. What's really crazy about all this is if you set up a domestic asset protection correctly and a pass-through single-member LLC, all the deductions, all the depreciation can still be passed through to Matthew Wiley. At the end of the day, my friends, this is how nobody can find out what you own. And even if they do, you have a shield, a little asset protection to protect you from the future. Any questions, give me a call. Love to talk more about it. I'm passionate about this and protecting you.